Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Regina. Very good to see you today. And I want to start out by saying, please share in the comments if this information I'm going to give is educational, entertaining, if you thought it was worthwhile to listen to for, I think this is going to be about 10 to 15 minutes, or if there's something else that you'd like to hear. So this month, it's all the months. Go back to the very first one where I listed out all the months that we're going to be celebrating in this month of March, my favorite month, and I'll let you guess why. But for this month of March, and we're going to be talking about quite a few things because I would love to cover everything, but it certainly can't cover all the things. But this week, since it's Women's History Month, I'm basically talking about some historic women throughout this week. And then we'll switch to a different topic next week. And then pretty much every day after next week, we'll be kind of tossing out and hitting on some of the other things, right? Like Developmental Disabilities Month and nutrition or physical exercise or physical activity or physical training. But today we're talking about one of my favorite people, Serena Williams. Now, what I think is so interesting is that at the time of this video, it's right after the Super Bowl, and there was a commercial during the Super Bowl that got a lot of reaction. And there are people that were kind of on both sides of the fence. There were some people that were on one side. There's people on the other side. Now, I'll get back to that. But let's start out by saying most people know the iconic Serena Williams and her sister, the dynamic tennis duo that have won multiple. She in particular have won multiple Grand Slams. I mean, she's been at Wimbledon like so many times, has multiple Olympic medals. I saw a little short snippet where she was talking about that now that she's not actively playing for a particular goal or professional tennis at this time. She's got all of these medals basically in these containers. And she said, now I need to go ahead and actually, do something with these and organize these, which I thought was so cool. I can't wait to see what her shadow box looks like. I just can't wait because I love doing things to memorialize things. So I'm not going to go into all her wonderful accolades. I'm not going to go into she was the first this, she was the first that. You will probably be able to find that multiple other places. That's not my role. My role is to talk about her from a women's history standpoint because she is continuing to make groundbreaking moves, not just in the sports arena or in the field of athleticism. Okay, so there are three areas I'm going to talk about today that I think are incredibly important. Number one, and they're all going to tie in together, you'll see at the end. But number one is that she is vegan. I don't know how many people knew that, but she eats basically a whole food plant-based diet. And we're going to talk about more of that about that next week. But let me tell you what that is. Whole food, it means that you're eating things that are whole and wholesome. So rather than applesauce or apple strudel, I'm eating the actual apple. It's things that are as close to the ground, as close to the ocean, as close to the air as you can get, but vegan meaning animal. Okay, so whole food could be meat, but vegan, which is what she's eating, is just animal. So I'm sorry, it's not animal. So if she's eating something like an apple, it's as close to the ground. It's not as processed or ultra processed because those things are not nearly as helpful. So that's what she did. But do you know why? It's in solidarity with her sister. Her sister decided to go vegan and she said, hey, you know what? This is healthy. This sounds like a great idea. So let me go ahead and do this to support you. And she adopted a vegan lifestyle. So she has a very healthy lifestyle. So let me say that again for folks in the back row. Serena Williams and her sister, Venus, both have, as those who are eating a whole food plant-based diet, and for hers, a vegan diet, which means she's not eating any animal products or animal byproducts. That means she doesn't eat eggs, drink milk, right? If it's milk or eggs, it's egg substitutes. If it's milk, it's an almond milk or oat milk or almond milk, something like that. So she eats incredibly healthy and very, very clean, okay? Very healthy, very clean. So that's something that you might not have known about Serena Williams. The second thing that I'm going to share with you is that yes, in the Super Bowl commercial, she did talk about using a modality that literally millions of Americans and millions of American women and women from all over the world as well, she has started using a GLP-1 inhibitor. And the one that she specifically, I think was, well, I'm not going to go into specifics, but she is using a GLP-1 inhibitor. And basically what that is, it is a medicine that your body automatically makes the GLP-1s, right? It's an inhibitor. So it's an exogenous medicine that you're taking to basically limit the ability of your body to process certain things. And it's really not so much the processing of an individual food, it's really the way that your body then sends signals to the brain about how it's going to process food in the gut. So it basically sends signals to the brain that says, you know what, I'm full. I don't need to eat as much. And so what people will notice, right? And there's this whole nother video that's going to be on GLP-1. So follow that. But right now we're talking about this from the Serena Williams perspective. Basically, you're not going to crave certain foods that you might normally crave, right? So even if you're vegan, you may still really want whole wheat bread, right? That's made not with animal products. You really might be in that era where you're just like, I love the fiber, I love the texture, I love the bread, I love all the bread-like things. And that, as a major carb, can still retain weight for some people. So a GLP-1 just basically says, I don't crave that as much. Or maybe you crave desserts. And even though I'm vegan, there are some phenomenal vegan desserts out there. Just let me tell you. If you don't know, just ask somebody, including myself, when we talk about nutrition. Now, the cool thing about these medicines are they're not a cheat code. What they are is if you're already eating a very healthy diet, vegan, and you're still having difficulties. And she was very transparent about this. Not as many people, I applaud her for transparency. Not as many people have been as transparent about what they eat and what they take to lose weight. All right. I know a very prominent person that is in the supplement industry and basically says, hey, I did it all on my own, but doesn't necessarily disclose the fact that they're on a GLP-1. But Serena Williams did. So I applaud her for that. That's one of the things that I applaud her for. The other thing is that she was very transparent. I don't know about taking the medicine. She was transparent about the fact that for her, she was doing all the things. She was eating right. God knows that she exercises. If anybody questions her exercise regimen, just look at some of the videos that she shows about her workout and the things that she does a lot in terms of the exercise arena. So yes, as a physician, I 100% believe that a person can be eating very healthy and can be exercising, like doing all the things, cutting all the calories, and may still struggle with weight loss, especially from certain parts of the body. Right. And she mentioned that as a postpartum woman, she was doing all the things that she did before she had baby, but was having a hard time. And I don't know if she's in menopause, transitional menopause, perimenopause, whatever you want to call it. But guess what? When we hit that age, it is a struggle. It's very much a struggle for women above a certain age, especially if they're going through any of the change of life issues, to lose weight, especially in certain areas. And she mentioned that there are areas that normally, hey, I can tell you this is, I'm not a professional athlete at all, but I can tell you about being an athlete running track, doing shot put, throwing discus, hurdles, all the things, and being able to eat as much as I wanted of certain things before baby and then after baby. There is a difference, people. Okay, there's a difference. And so I really want you to think about that. And please stop throwing shade on people. I mean, this woman has already had enough shade. Okay. When you think about body shaming, she has been body shamed since the beginning. Oh, she's too big, too muscular, and there's some controversy about the whole gorilla picture. It was like I wasn't likening her to a gorilla, but we know that racism exists, okay, and that Black people were called monkeys and gorilla. Just don't do it. Just stay away from it. You could have drawn a picture of her with anything else besides the angry gorilla, the big brown gorilla. But she was, part of that was the idea that there was this very muscular woman in this field, in this sport, where you don't see a lot of Black women, first of all, and then you don't see a lot of Black women with that muscle type, or a lot of women in general with that muscular type of that body habitus. She's gone through body shaming her entire career from people. So to have another type of body shaming, and there's a cute little short video that we have that we'll be publishing on one of our sites soon. But for her to have gone through all of that, I thought that was very, very interesting. The third thing that you might not know is that she has used ExoMind. And ExoMind is one of the EXOs. So there's Exo this, there's Exo that. There's all kinds of Exos that's put out by this company that basically has this branded technology that will be able to help. And why is ExoMind important to me? Well, as a psychiatrist, as a mental health provider, we use transcranial magnetic stimulation at TMS, and it's a modality that you can use. It's just like MRI. The same technology behind MRI is behind, it's not shock therapy, it's not ECT, it's in and out procedures, walk in, walk out. You walk in, 20 minutes later, you walk out and you're feeling somewhat better. And with each exercise, because that is what it is exercise and training for the brain. Again, we'll have a whole nother series on TMS, but it's exercise and training for the brain, non-invasive. And ExoMind is a version of that. Okay. The ExoMind is basically like a little helmet that you put on, whereas the TMS that we have in our office, we've got several different brands. One is a wand, right? A figure 8 wand, and the other is a helmet, a full helmet, not the ExoMind helmet. But ExoMind is a version of TMS that Serena Williams used. Now, I don't know all the details of why she used it, but you can use it for a variety of conditions, including depression, anxiety, compulsions. You can also use it just for mental health enhancement, right? So there are forms of TMS that are actually used to help people think better and to help them perform better. So again, I don't know why she used it. I'm not in the business like that, but I can tell you based on what she's publicly shared, which is incredibly brave as far as I'm concerned, it is one of those non-medication procedures, treatments. And lots of athletes use things that are going to help them mentally prepare for their game. Okay, LeBron James, just there's a litany of people that use these, basketball players and football players and all kinds of other. They don't go telling you all their stuff, but I do appreciate that Serena did share more than many people will share. Does videos and all kinds of things so that you can see some of her training regimen, so you can see some of the work that she does. So you already can tell I'm a fan, but I'm mainly a fan, not just the transparency, but she's a mom like I am who has struggled to lose weight after having babies, in my case, right? And I still have the pouches to prove it, but I don't see anything wrong with using a GLP-1 inhibitor. And a lot of the shade that she got about, oh, well, you're telling these young, impressionable people that they need to be on a medicine like this to look a certain way. That's not what she said. Even in the commercial, that's not what she said. She said, I worked hard, I did the things, and I still couldn't lose weight. I'm eating right. I'm exercising. I'm still having a hard time losing the weight after having a baby. She said that. And we're still giving her shade. She clearly is not speaking to teenagers. She's not. How many teenagers do you know that have had like multiple babies and are struggling to lose weight? Okay. It's not approved for that. It's not FDA approved for that. It's approved for people that are using the right techniques, the food, the exercise, still struggling, and they're using this medicine. What I don't want to happen is you have people who are struggling with diabetes, who are struggling with high blood pressure, who are struggling with obesity and overweight. Can you say the vast majority of United States citizens who won't use a modality that they could use to help them out? And I'm not big on GLP-1s as a spokesperson. I'm not a paid spokesperson. But what I am saying is I've seen the results. I've seen people's blood pressures come down. I don't want to see strokes. I don't want to see people have life-altering cognitive problems that could have been prevented by some weight loss that they're really struggling with. And if a GLP-1 is the key to that, I'm all for it. No, we don't know all the data and science about the major side effects because it's too new. Okay. But when people first started using warfarin and other blood clotting agents, guess what? They were new, right? And we used them. All right. When the first surgeries came out for cabbages or coronary artery bypass grafts and other vascular surgeries, they were very new and we didn't know all the complications that come from them. But if it meant saving a life today, it's worth using it. Okay. So that's just my spiel and that's my standard as it relates to that. Again, all the things we've talked about, there will be other videos, or there are videos that are out there that you can go to our YouTube and look and find, or go to Instagram and look and find. But wherever you get the information, make sure it's from a person that actually knows what they're talking about, MD, PhD, master's level trained person that actually knows what they're talking about. They've got the science and the research to back it up, which we do. But make sure you do that. So that's my one little caveat there. And of course, I am a psychiatrist, but I'm not necessarily your psychiatrist. So please vet everything that I say by talking to your primary care doctor, your psychiatrist, your neurologist, to see if what I'm saying is accurate or not. And if it's not accurate, please put it in the comments and let me know so that I can talk to you about that and share whether or not it really is accurate. We're not going to debate, but healthy debate never hurt anybody. We would have a lot less problems in our world if we actually debated with our mouths as opposed to debating with other things. And last point that I will make about the ExoMind slide. I've not used ExoMind, but again, we've got 3 different types of TMS machines in our office, and we use them for very different things. But we've used them for autism treatment, which is very streamlined and specified for what area you're trying to treat for that. We've used it for OCD. We've used it for depression, of course. We've used it to treat chronic pain, depending on the device, what you're using it for. And there's great research. I don't do anything without great research behind it, all right? TMS, to some extent, it's a newer modality, but not so new when you think about the fact that when I was in residency, they were doing the initial studies on it. And Dr. Tony Barker, fangirl, and the group that helped create that, created the first iterations of that back in the 80s and 90s. And when you think about the science that it's based on, Michael Faraday in the house many, many, many moons ago, and the work that he's done that has advanced electromagnetics, it's not that new of a technology. It's really not. It's been around for a couple decades now, just a couple decades now, and it's very safe, as I said. So I applaud her for using the device, whatever she's using it for. I applaud her for using it and for being willing to just stand up and say, look, you don't have to suffer in silence. There are so many modalities out there that you can be utilizing that can help you, that can help a loved one. So please don't suffer in silence. Okay. Now you don't have to share your story like everybody else, but give it a try. Go and do some research. Ask your provider. If they don't know, ask their psychiatrist. If they don't know, send me a comment, ask me. Okay. And one of my staff or other folks that monitor my feed. I've seen other people from other clinics monitor things and share answers. So once the answer is shared, you go and research it yourself, do your own due diligence, do like the Bereans in the Bible. After Paul came and talked to them, they went and they searched out for themselves to make sure what he said was right. I'm always going to tell you to do that. Make sure what you see, what I'm talking about is accurate. Okay. And then try it for yourself and see if it helps you out. Okay. Again, I'm Dr. Virginia, and it's always a pleasure to be able to come before you and talk with you and teach you and make sure that things that you know are going to be able to help make a difference in your life and the lives of those that you reach and touch. So you guys have a very blessed day on purpose, and hopefully I will see you again soon.